Let's talk about something as American as apple pie, the cost of living. It's a topic that touches every single one of us, from bustling cities to quiet suburbs. The American dream, once a symbol of prosperity and opportunity, now feels out of reach for many. The reality is stark and unsettling. As of June 2025, 1 in 4 Americans, 26%, are struggling to get by on their current income, up from 16% during the pandemic. This isn't just a statistic, it's a reflection of the growing financial strain on households across the nation. Families are finding it harder to make ends meet, and the stress is palpable. Prices have soared on everything, and for millions, this isn't just an economic theory, it's daily life. From the grocery store aisles to the gas station pumps, every dollar seems to stretch less and less. The cost of essentials like food, housing, and healthcare has skyrocketed, leaving many to wonder how they will manage. It's the anxiety when your car needs repairs, or the tough choices at the grocery store between food and gas. These are not isolated incidents, but daily dilemmas faced by countless Americans. The pressure to balance a budget has never been more intense, and the sacrifices are becoming more significant. The cost of living crisis isn't knocking, it's moved in and emptied the fridge. Families are staring at empty pantries and wondering how they will feed their children. The sense of security that a full fridge once provided is now a distant memory for many. A full-time job no longer guarantees stability. People are working harder, juggling multiple jobs, yet falling further behind. The dream of a stable, single-income household is fading, replaced by the harsh reality of endless work hours and constant fatigue. The balance between work and life is tipping dangerously. The American dream has become the American daily struggle for survival, a national emergency unfolding in every home. The stress and uncertainty are taking a toll on mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. It's a crisis that demands urgent attention and action as the very fabric of American life is being tested. What is the cost of living? It's the 4 horsemen of your budget: housing, food, healthcare, and utilities. These are non-negotiable essentials, and all 4 are spiraling out of control. Housing costs are astronomical, whether you rent or buy. Grocery bills have inflated so much that a supermarket trip feels like a mugging. Utilities, electricity and water, are now a monthly source of dread. Healthcare? The fear of the bill is often worse than the illness. These costs are interconnected. A rent hike means less for food. A medical bill means the lights might go out. The game is rigged, and the house always wins. For most Americans, housing isn't just a line item in the monthly budget. It's the single biggest expense, often dwarfing all others combined. Whether you're renting a cramped apartment or paying a mortgage on a modest home, the cost of simply having a place to live can feel overwhelming. Every month, families across the country sit down at their kitchen tables, anxiously reviewing bills and bank statements, trying to make the numbers work. The dream of a comfortable, stable home is slipping further out of reach for millions. Homeownership, once the cornerstone of the American dream, now feels like a fantasy for many. Young adults scroll through real estate listings only to be met with sticker shock at every turn. Open houses sit empty, not because people don't want to buy, but because so few can actually afford to. The idea of building equity, putting down roots, and creating generational wealth through home ownership is becoming less attainable with each passing year. Home prices have soared to record highs, and it's not just the market driving costs up. Regulations, zoning laws, and permitting fees now make up nearly a quarter of the price of a new home. These hidden costs add tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the price tag, putting homeownership even further out of reach for average families. Meanwhile, construction slows or stops altogether, leaving would-be buyers with fewer and fewer options. But renting isn't much better. In cities and states like Florida, rents have skyrocketed, devouring a third or more of people's incomes, sometimes even half. Long lines form outside apartment buildings as desperate renters compete for a shrinking supply of affordable units. Inside, families squeeze into small, crowded spaces, sacrificing comfort and privacy just to keep a roof over their heads. For many, the dream of saving up for a home is replaced by the reality of just trying to make next month's rent. The consequences are devastating. In just 1 year, homelessness has surged by 18%, a staggering increase that's left more families and children without a place to call home. Shelters are overflowing, and encampments have become a common sight in cities large and small. Volunteers do what they can, but the need far outpaces the help available. Children in particular are hit hardest, forced to move from shelter to shelter, their education and sense of security constantly disrupted. There simply isn't enough affordable housing to go around. For millions of Americans, the dream of a stable, permanent home has been replaced by the constant fear of eviction. Single parents pack up their belongings, not knowing where they'll sleep next week. Families double up in crowded apartments, hoping to avoid the dreaded eviction notice. The stress and uncertainty take a toll on mental and physical health, making it even harder to break the cycle. Some cities, like Austin, Texas, have started to make progress by building more housing and reforming outdated regulations. New apartments rise on the skyline, and construction crews work to meet the growing demand. But for every city moving forward, there are many more falling behind, struggling with outdated policies, limited resources, and growing populations. The gap between those who can afford a home and those who can't continues to widen. Today, a roof over your head is no longer a given. It's a luxury that millions can't afford. The housing crisis touches every corner of the country, from bustling cities to quiet suburbs. As the gap grows wider, the question remains, will we find a way to make housing a right again, or will it remain a millstone around the necks of those just trying to get by? Found a place to live? Now comes the next challenge: buying food. Grocery prices have outpaced wages, forcing families to buy less, eat less healthy, or rely on food banks. Utilities, electricity, gas, water, keep climbing, turning basic needs into monthly stressors. For many, a spike in the utility bill means choosing between heat and food. The grocery gauntlet and utility squeeze are eroding security in the most basic areas of life. People cut back on everything else just to cover the basics. Every month, just staying afloat gets harder. The final boss of American financial misery: healthcare. Getting sick here is a financial crisis. Insurance premiums and deductibles keep rising, and even minor care can be ruinous. People ration medication, avoid doctors, and hope symptoms go away, all to dodge crushing bills. A hospital stay can mean bankruptcy, even with insurance. This isn't rare, it's the norm. President Trump's executive order to lower healthcare costs was a gesture, but for most, nothing has changed. Our healthcare system is broken, and it's breaking Americans financially and physically. When paychecks don't cover the basics, Americans turn to debt, credit cards, and buy now, pay later services. These are lifelines, but the interest rates are brutal, trapping people in cycles of debt. What starts as a small purchase balloons with interest, making next month even harder. BNPL services offer easy payments, but juggling them leads to confusion and missed payments. Even lenders are struggling as more people can't pay back what they owe. This isn't irresponsibility, it's survival in a broken economy. Americans are borrowing from their future just to survive the present. Think a conflict in the Middle East doesn't affect you? Think again. Instability there drives up oil prices, which means higher gas and energy costs here. Every step of the supply chain gets pricier, and those costs hit your wallet. A conflict overseas acts like a global inflation tax on American families. Ongoing tensions keep energy markets on edge, making prices unpredictable. This instability adds another burden to already struggling households. It's a global headache, and your wallet gets the migraine. So what's the government doing? Mostly talking, negotiating, and moving slowly. President Trump's executive order promised relief, but results are hard to see. Congress is debating a relief bill, but even if it passes, help could be months away. Meanwhile, families are struggling, and uncertainty is its own source of anxiety. A tariff pause is about to expire, threatening to raise prices even more. It's a perfect storm of deadlines and economic cliffs, and Americans are stuck in the middle. The government's response feels slow and inadequate for a fast-moving crisis. The American dream once promised a future of upward mobility, stability, and the chance to build a better life for yourself and your family. It was a vision that inspired generations. Work hard, play by the rules, and you could own a home, raise a family, and retire with dignity. For decades, this dream was woven into the fabric of American life, shaping our hopes and ambitions. But today, for millions, that dream feels out of reach. The reality for many Americans is a constant struggle just to get by, juggling bills, worrying about rent, and wondering if there will be enough left for groceries at the end of the month. The sense of security that once defined middle-class life has been replaced by anxiety and uncertainty. Homeownership, once a cornerstone of the American dream, now seems like a distant fantasy for many young people. Starting a family, buying a house, or even moving out on your own are goals that have been postponed, not because people don't want them, but because the numbers simply don't add up. Wages have stagnated while the cost of living has soared, making it harder than ever to get ahead. This quiet shift in expectations is a sobering admission that the system isn't working as it should. The promise that hard work will be rewarded has been eroded by economic forces beyond most people's control. News headlines about inflation, layoffs, and global instability only add to the sense of unease. As the odds stack higher, feelings of hopelessness and resentment are growing. People are frustrated, not just by personal setbacks, but by a sense that the deck is rigged against them. Many are left wondering if the dream they were promised was ever truly attainable, or if it was always just out of reach. The challenges are immense and deeply interconnected. Unaffordable housing, skyrocketing costs for essentials, mounting debt, and a world that feels increasingly unstable. For many, it's a daily battle to keep their heads above water, with little room for error or unexpected expenses. Yet even in the face of these hardships, there are sparks of hope. Communities are coming together, supporting one another through food pantries, neighborhood meetings, and peaceful protests. People are demanding real change, refusing to accept that this is as good as it gets. The fight for a fairer system continues, fueled by resilience and solidarity. For now, though, survival is the reality for millions. The American dream, once a beacon of hope, has been replaced by the daily struggle to stay afloat. But even in these challenging times, the spirit of perseverance endures, and the hope for a better future remains alive.